Excellencies, Generals, Admirals, Mayor of Norfolk, ladies and gentlemen. It is really a great pleasure for me to be back in Norfolk. And I'm glad that we can all gather here to honor two men who are not only experienced pilots and commanders, but also great leaders committed to our transatlantic alliance. General Lanata and General Lavigne. France is a strong and highly valued NATO ally, with cutting-edge capabilities and highly professional forces. For over a decade, France has nominated its best officers to take this command. General Lavigne, you are part of that fine tradition. You started your career as a fighter pilot, flying combat missions in the former Republic of Yugoslavia and in Iraq, contributing your experience and your expertise to train and teach fellow pilots, and to help to plan and conduct operations, notably in Haiti and in South Asia after the tsunami. You were also in Afghanistan, where you commanded the airport in Kabul. You have had an extraordinary career, including as France's Air and Space Force Chief of Staff. Your experience and professionalism make you the perfect person to take over as Supreme Allied Commander Transformation. You join at the pivotal moment for our alliance. As we now are preparing NATO for the next decade and beyond. On behalf of everyone at NATO, I wish you a very warm welcome. And I look forward to working with you. And I'm sure you will quickly discover the extraordinary warmth and friendship of the local community in Norfolk. The people here have welcomed and supported the men and women of NATO for many decades. And I would like to thank them for all that they do for those stationed here. No matter where they are from, the people of Norfolk make this feel like home. So thank you so much. At our NATO summit in June, our leaders agreed NATO 2030, an ambitious agenda for our future security. A future that has already been shaped by the man we say goodbye to today, our good friend, General Lanata. For NATO to be future-proof, we need to keep up with the rapid pace of technological change, accelerate innovation so that we remain competitive, and retain our edge. General, this is precisely what you have been doing. Under your leadership, ACT has made significant contributions to the alliance's work on emerging and disruptive technologies, in particular on artificial intelligence. ACT has also laid the foundations for the alliance's development of the new Defense Innovation Accelerator, Diana. Let me also highlight your significant contribution to the development of the NATO warfighting capstone concept, which will guide our alliance capability development to 2040. Your work has left its mark on this alliance, and this work will be taken forward by your successor as we continue to adapt. André, when you return to France, I know that you will miss the many friends you have made here at ACT. But know that they will miss you just as much. They will remember your extraordinary vision, particularly with regard to capability development. They will also remember your laser focus and relentless engagement on innovation. And they will remember your pride and passion for your native island of Corsica. So, General Lanata, it has been NATO's privilege to have you serve as Supreme Allied Commander Transformation. So, on behalf of all allies and all NATO staffs, I would like to thank you for your outstanding contribution to our alliance. And it is now my honor to present you with the NATO Meritorious Service Medal.
In recognition of General Lanata's exemplary commitment and remarkable achievements, the NATO Secretary General will now present the prestigious NATO Meritorious Service Medal. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the presentation of the award. General André Lanata is being awarded the NATO Meritorious Service Medal for cultivating an engaging environment that has led to astounding achievements while encouraging those he led to transform concepts into tangible actions. Through his leadership, he has implemented NATO's military concepts by enabling members to respond effectively to emerging and unique international challenges. General Lanata's technical acumen and perseverance in a demanding assignment contributed directly to the mission success of the NATO alliance. As a fierce champion of the NATO construct, he drove his command to develop a variety of key initiatives of strategic importance for the future of warfare development of the alliance. These included the creation of the NATO warfighting capstone concept and an innovation lab. He fostered a sense of ownership and cooperation among allies, partners, international organizations, and various stakeholders in private sectors to support the Allied Command's broader vision. With a focus on the Alliance's core missions, he decisively reshaped the organization to make it better able to confront and subsequently overcome the challenges of responding to 360-degree threats. The Innovation Lab will ensure the Alliance can meet the challenges of future warfare, applying the agile process to innovate, develop, and deliver prototypes and software solutions more quickly while synchronizing efforts to implement emerging and disruptive technologies. General Lanata's unwavering dedication, ingenuity, and exemplary leadership were integral to the immense success of his command and reflect great credit upon himself, the French Air and Space Force, Allied Command Transformation, and the NATO alliance itself. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. We now welcome General André Lanata, Supreme Allied Commander Transformation, to provide his farewell remarks.
Mr. Jens Stoltenberg, dear NATO Secretary General, Your Excellencies, Ambassadors, Miss Muriel Domenac, French Permanent Representative to NATO, chère Muriel, Admiral Rob Bauer, Chair of the NATO Military Committee, dear Rob, Chief of Defense, General Eric Hotelet, French Vice Chair representing the French Ministry of the French Minister of the Armed Forces, cher Eric, General Todd Walters, Supreme Allied Commander, Europe, dear Todd, Admiral Christopher Grady, Commander, United States Fleet Forces Command, dear Christopher, former SACTIs, General Stéphane Abrial and Jean-Paul Paloméros, dear Stéphane, dear Jean-Paul, military representatives, Lieutenant General Hans Werner Wehrmann, I don't know where you are, here, Director General of the International Military Staff, the Honorable Kenneth Cooper Alexander, Mayor of Norfolk, dear Kenneth, distinguished civilian and military authorities, General Admirals, dear friends, dear family. Good morning. It's really great to see you all in person here in Norfolk. 3 years ago, Hurricane Florence barreled through the change of command ceremony, a quite harbinger of the coming devastation of COVID-19. Seeing so many of you is a good symbol that hopefully predicts well for our shared future. I would like to start by extending again my sincerest condolences to the families of the 13 US service members who gave their life in Kabul airport on August 26. We will keep these brave souls and their families in our thoughts and prayers, and we will continue to honor those who have fallen in combat. Today, I am very honored to have with us General Stéphane Abrial and Jean-Paul Palomaros, former SACTs. Dear Stéphane, dear Jean-Paul, I thank you very much for being here. As my famous predecessors, I have sought to adapt our alliance to make it more relevant. Thanks to Allied Command transformation, continuous efforts, I humbly believe that NATO is today better prepared to address the security challenges than it was 3 years ago. This is in no small part due to our determination to focus our efforts on the warfighters, serve our soldiers, sailors, airmen, the only truth that counts, especially for a military organization such as NATO. This ceremony is an opportunity for me to say goodbye to you, but also an opportunity to celebrate our successes in making NATO stronger together. My ACT team and I have worked restlessly to provide security for our citizens and to ensure NATO remains the most successful alliance in history, unifying 30 countries to protect almost 1 billion people. NATO's success and that of our command, Allied Command transformation, is our collective achievement. This is the reason why, as I leave this magnificent and demanding command, I would like to express my own thanks to all of you. First off, I want to thank NATO authorities for their continuous support. Thank you, dear Mr. Jens Stoltenberg, NATO Secretary General, for your open-mindedness and for the constructive exchanges we have had on NATO's transformation and adaptation. I still remember the exchange of ideas we had in Belgium 2 years ago when my command organized a conference with the North Atlantic Council about leveraging new technologies to support NATO's decision-making. I also want to thank the permanent representatives, defense counselors, military representatives, assistants to NATO Secretary General, members of the international staff and the international military staff for their support, despite the limitations imposed by COVID-19, which I must admit have affected the depth of our interactions. I thank my friend, Todd Walters, SACURE. Dear Todd, thank you and your team in ACO for working so closely with ACT. This was essential for the success of the NATO command structure adaptation and the development of the NATO warfighting capstone concept alongside the ACO's concept for deterrence and defense of the Euro-Atlantic area. Designing these two concepts, NATO military leaders took their responsibilities to address the new security challenges and to start adapting NATO's military instrument of power. I think this is essential to keep reinforcing the link with ACO in order to accelerate the adaptation of our forces to the changing character of the war we face. Here, we have to question our agility and wonder if a refinement of our organizational structure is again necessary. I also thank the US authorities for their generous support as a host nation. ACT is proud to call Norfolk NATO's home in North America, reinforcing every day the strong transatlantic bond. As a sole strategic command on the American soil, ACT has a unique opportunity to give a concrete expression to NATO's cooperation with US defense organizations. And our partnership goes beyond symbols. It includes allied warfighters talks where SACT exchanges through audacious war games with all the US commanders. I wish to thank General John Hyten for co-organizing with me this unique event. In addition, being on the US soil is also an opportunity to cooperate with the scientific community, academia, leading innovators, companies, and startups. ACT's Innovation Lab is hosted here in Norfolk, in Old Dominion University. We made progress on our innovation agenda thanks to the cooperation with the US Air Force's Kessel Run Digital Lab initiative in Boston. I would like to thank General David Golphin and Charles Brown, Chiefs of Staff of the US Air Force, for their support in this endeavor. Above all, I thank Admiral Christopher Grady, Commander, United States Fleet Forces Command, for the outstanding daily support to our command here in Norfolk. Christopher and Christine. Christine and I would also like to thank you for the personal relationships we have developed, which allows me to call you our friends. Thanks to the support the US authorities provide to our staff, the alliance is stronger than it was 3 years ago. I thank also the French authorities for their confidence in me and for appointing me as SACT. Let me say a few words in French. Mon général, cher Eric, je vous remercie très sincèrement de votre présence. Vous représentez aujourd'hui Madame Florence Parly, qui, elle me l'a dit, n'a pas pu assister à cette cérémonie étant retenue avec le président de la République. Je voudrais la remercier de son soutien. Madame l'ambassadrice, je voudrais également vous remercier de votre présence. J'y suis très sensible. Merci. I thank also the civic leaders of Hampton Roads, including congressmen and congresswomen, for their support and for accepting us in their welcoming community. You all made Hampton Roads a true home for our multinational community and their families. Our cooperation with the city of Norfolk goes beyond the southern hospitality and also includes the security domain. For example, we organized together a large international conference on increasing the resilience of our societies and cities. This helped us better understand what resilience really means and propose its conceptualization to NATO headquarters. Here, I thank especially Mr. Kenneth Cooper Alexander, Mayor of Norfolk, dear Kenneth, for the cooperation we have had, including the traditional Norfolk NATO Festival, one of a kind in the USA. Above all, I thank my great ACT teammates, where every member, from the command group to staff officers, plays their respective part, thus contributing to our achievements. Without you, I would not have been able to succeed. Thanks to you, the NATO warfighting capstone concept was recognized by the head of states. It brings tangible military answers to the deep evolution in our environment and the changing character of war. And thanks to you, ACT will present next January outputs leaning on concrete lines of efforts. Resilience, China, new areas such as the cognitive warfare were embraced sometimes for the first time in the alliance. Thanks to you, the alliance has boosted its force structure in the defense planning process. It is an outstanding result that directly contributes to the unity and the solidarity of the alliance. You have allowed a better understanding of our strategic environment through strategic foresight analysis reports on Russia, High North, cyberspace, the Middle East, Sahel, or the impact of climate change, to name a few of the themes we addressed. Thanks to you, space was declared as a new operational domain, and you have pursued the operationalization of space domain. Thanks to you, the emerging and disruptive technologies roadmap was endorsed by our leaders at the London Summit, and now ACT is able to deliver innovative prototypes using these technologies in a matter of of weeks. And at the same time, you led an ambitious reform of our headquarters through the NCS adaptation and tirelessly worked on the crucial topic of the interoperability of our forces. I stop here because the list of your successful, tangible achievements is too long. In one word, thanks to you, today, our alliance is stronger. Therefore, I want to say wholehearted thank you to each of every one of you in Norfolk, Washington, D.C., Brussels and Mons, Belgium, Stavanger, Norway, Lisbon, Portugal, Bydgoszcz, Poland, and to Major General Lucas Brancales, my representative in Europe. And a special thanks you also to my deputy, General Paolo Ruggiero, to my COS, Vice Admiral Guy Robinson, and his predecessor, Vice Admiral Paul Bennett, Sergeant Major Tibor Bogdan, ACT's Command Senior Enlisted Leader, and my Polad, Julien Deruf. Your team spirit strengthens ACT's credibility and helps us to prepare the alliance for the future. My gratitude goes as well to your families for their enduring support. As of today, you will be led confidently by an outstanding leader, my good friend General Philippe Lavigne, who has throughout his impressive career demonstrated a natural talent to foster creativity and motivation in his teams. Philippe, we have worked together for years, and I know that you will pursue with success this continuous endeavor of defense transformation. Now, let me mention my own family. I would like to thank you for being here today. To my dear wife, Christine, I would like to tell you how grateful I am to you for your constant and discreet support that you gave me throughout my 40 years military career and your engagement in supporting many activities for our families here in Norfolk. Without you, nothing would have been possible. And to my 5 wonderful children, Antoine, Marie-Laetitia, Alix, Maëlys and Marie-Gabrielle, thank you for your love and your constant support. As I already told you publicly, for Christine and me, you are our greatest success, and you offer a beautiful image of our youth. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, ACT changes things, it leads transformation and contributes to NATO's adaptation, but transformation is not a destination. It is a journey, one that continues over and over to facilitate adaptation required by a profoundly evolving environment. I wish you and your families all the best in that endeavor. I will miss you, especially because, as a famous French writer, Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, wrote, "Love the ones you command without telling them." God bless you all. God bless NATO. God bless all our wonderful free nations. God bless France, and God bless America.
We will now witness the formal change of command between General Lanata and General Lavigne. For generations, military units around the world have rallied behind a flag as a symbol of unity and loyalty. As we watch the passing of the Allied Command transformation flag from one commander to the next, we recognize the formal transfer of authority and responsibility for this command. This symbolizes the continuity of the unit and ensures that its personnel are never without official leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. The command senior enlisted leader, Sergeant Major Tibor Bogdan, Hungary Army, will now present the Allied Command transformation colors to the outgoing commander, General André Lanata. General Lanata will now relinquish the Allied Command transformation colors to His Excellency Mr. Jens Stoltenberg, NATO Secretary General, who will then present the command colors to the incoming commander, General Philippe Lavigne. This marks the transfer of the Supreme Allied Command transformation from General Lanata to General Lavigne. By the authority of the North Atlantic Council, General Lavigne has now assumed the command of Allied Command transformation effective September 23, 2021. Please join me. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, I now introduce General Philippe Lavigne, Supreme Allied Commander Transformation.
Your Excellency, Mr. Jens Stoltenberg, NATO Secretary General, Madame l'Ambassadrice, chère Muriel, Dr. Kenneth Cooper Alexander, Mayor of the city of Norfolk, Admiral Rob Bauer, Chair of the NATO Military Committee, dear Rob, General Todd Wolters, Supreme Allied Commander Europe, dear Todd, Chief of Defense, General André Lanata, Supreme Allied Commander Transformation, former SACTs, General Stéphane Abrial and Jean-Paul Paloméros, cher Stéphane, cher Jean-Paul, General, Admiral, distinguished civilian and military authorities, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, dear families. I would like to begin by saying how proud I am to have been appointed to this prestigious position. I am aware of the honor I have been given and the magnitude of the challenges to be met, starting with that of succeeding André. The difficulties were numerous. André outlined them. You know them. I will not go back over them. In spite of this, NATO has been able to adapt itself, to keep transforming, to be stronger today than it was yesterday. Very humbly, with the hindsight of these few interviews and briefings I had in Brussels, Mons, and here in Norfolk, I retain an operational principle, a triad, within which ICT plays the role of warfare developer. Thus, in parallel to the NATO military strategy and deterrence and defense of North Atlantic area, ACT has developed what is now recognized as the NATO military North Star, the NATO war-fighting capstone concept, in a very inclusive and totally transparent way. And we owe this to you, André, who have masterfully embodied the function of SACTI throughout your tenure. You laid the foundation on which the transformation of NATO military instrument of power is being conducted. I think that this permanent transformation is an obligation for our armed forces, because the threats we must face to protect our fellow citizens and help preserve the stability of our world are becoming more and more prevalent. NATO's transformation is not an empty concept, but the only possible way to collectively overcome threats of all kinds, be it terrorism, conventional, nuclear, or emerging threats from the new domain like cyberspace or cognitive warfare. Moreover, this transformation must happen quickly to take into account a world in perpetual evolution. This is the message conveyed by the words of the US Air Force Chief of Staff, my friend General Charles Q. Brown: accelerate change or lose. This formula alone sums up The concept of agility, the ability to adapt by relying on a flexible organization, competent people, and versatile means. The word collectively is also particularly dear to me. First of all, because it encompasses a reality that is extremely relevant to the alliance, with 30 member countries taking all decisions by consensus. NATO has had to learn to forge and grow the team spirit that has carried it through decades, from the signing of the Washington Treaty in 1949 to the present day, overcoming military and political crises. This is perfectly in line with my own motto, which is win as a team. This deep conviction mainly comes back from my previous ISAF experience when I was commanding Kabul International Airport in 2024, having more than 5,000 people from 57 different nations under my responsibility and support. I learned that cohesion and mutual understanding are the keys of success. And I'm sure that many of you have heard my passion for team sports, and first and foremost for rugby, a sport that exalts values, team spirit, of course, group intelligence, daring, surpassing oneself, and above all, individual commitment in the service of the collective. As in most team sports, winning a game requires strategy, discipline, but also the ability to create and seize the opportunities when they arise. In short, to be agile. Rugby is certainly less popular on this side of the Atlantic, but I'm convinced that our American hosts and allies will recognize themselves as much in the values as in the shape of the ball. But I will not elaborate further because I hope you will soon have the opportunity to push this approach into practice in everyday staff work, as well as, why not, on the field with the Norfolk Blues rugby team. To conclude this first speech as Sakti, I too wish to express my thanks. First to you, Mr. Secretary General. You have given me the honor of your confidence by appointing me to this command, as well as being here today. Thank you very much. And of course, I would like to extend my gratitude to the ambassador, Madame l'ambassadrice, and to the permanent representative to NATO, to the chair, to SACURE, to the Assistant Secretary General, and the military representative who honor me with their presence today. I would like to thank the French civilian and military authorities, Madame Aurélie Bonnard, Deputy Chief of the Mission, and the General Eric Hotelet, Deputy Chaude. Thank you very much, Eric, who are with me today for this very special moment. I want to salute the American military authorities. I'm very pleased to see you here, and I know how much you care about NATO's only strategic commands on the American continent. I also want to thank you, Mr. the Mayor of the City of Norfolk, and all the representatives of the local communities who welcome me and whole SACTI staff in this beautiful state of Virginia. I would like to thank you, the ICT team, who has worked hard to ensure that this change of command is carrying out in an optimal manner. I salute the representative of civilian sector, defense, innovation, and new technology, thanks to which we are able to lead the transformation of the armed forces in general and in NATO in particular. I know that I can count on your participation to continue the roadmap set out by André. And finally, I would like to say a word to my family and friends. I thank you for your unfailing support. I know that you understand the honor that I've been given today and the duties that it come with it. I want to know that it's from you that I draw all my energy, my determination, and my enthusiasm. Another André Malraux, said, "To command is to serve, nothing more, nothing less." Mr. Secretary General, generals and admirals, civilian authorities, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know that I'm here to serve NATO and that I will devote, as always, all my will. Thank you very much for your attention.
On behalf of the command, Lieutenant Clémence Barret will now present a bouquet of red roses to Mrs. Lanata, symbolizing the color of the heart for the care and concern given to the command during their time here. Lieutenant Laurent Jean Soulet will now present a bouquet of yellow roses to Mrs. Lavigne to symbolize welcoming her to the headquarters and the local community. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the benediction and the departure of the official party.
God of our ancestors, you have made all things, and in your providence have blessed us greatly. For those who work for peace, you reserve a special blessing, claiming them as your own children. And so we give thanks to you, Heavenly Father, for allowing us to share in this great moment, knowing that the freedoms we enjoy are not perpetual, nor are they guaranteed, but must be preserved by each generation. We pray for the community of nations forming this great and successful alliance, and give you thanks for the spirit of truth guiding General Lanata's capable service, and beseech your favor upon General Lavigne. Bestow your wisdom upon him, that justice and righteousness may flourish in our land. May he stand for what is honorable in your sight and lead your people in the way of peace. And bless all here gathered. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Please remain standing for the departure of the official party at this time.